Hello and thanks for checking out TheChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, checking in on commodities. We're going to look at the dollar, gold, oil, and natural gas, and we'll look at the miners as well. So the dollar on the weekly time frame has now been pulling back for a few weeks. We still have the higher low pattern, and the gold bulls definitely want to see the dollar break 93.19 and lose the weekly uptrend. So the weekly chart has been in a strong bull move ever since it started to take off back in April, and they want to see a bear break. It's going to require a lot more downside from where we currently stand, though, considering the daily chart has already been pulling back a little bit. So the daily chart has lost the higher low pattern, so this is a great start for the dollar bears and gold bulls. So we had the double top, and the loss of this support level, which was a double low, was clearly noteworthy. 94.17, 94.18, that has broken, and now we're just looking down to that weekly higher low of 93.19 support. So we are seeing the momentum shift on the daily chart more so than we've seen in quite some time, and now we just have to see if it's going to switch on the weekly time frame as well. So initially bearish action, but again, the 4-hour RSI, we got to be watching the hourly RSI. As they get oversold, we will look for short-term bounces on the way down. Not going to expect a straight drop down to that support level. Would expect some daily lower highs and lower lows first, but all in all, ideal end of the week for the gold bulls, as we did close at the low of the week for the dollar. So checking in on these gold bulls, the weekly time frame formed a bullish reversal candlestick maintaining higher lows. So this was the higher low the bulls needed to maintain, and we held it by under $2. I personally have a UGLD position, which is a 3 times bullish gold ETF. I sold half of it on the initial bull move, and I got a really good entry down 1 penny from the low that we've seen. So I am personally going to be swinging this position until I get stopped out at a break even, which is ideal scenario for a trade for me, because worst case scenario, you just get stopped out break even. So that's where I stand. I'm looking for confirmation of this bullish reversal candlestick with a green week. This coming week, the daily time frame, healthy bull move. We need a clear higher low and higher high for continuation. Right now, short-term support, 1251.17, and resistance is 1260.96. So the bulls want to see a bull break and continuation and confirmation of this weekly reversal candlestick with some follow-through. Even if we aren't going to change this weekly trend and see the move back into the low 1300s, I'm still looking for a bounce to make its way up to the 1270s, 1280s or so, and that would be enough profit as well. But again, I would love to see this weekly change in trend to get back above 1300, which would make it a very big swing trade if that does end up following through. So just to show where UGLD, where the entry was on that trade, honestly, it was just the all time frames were oversold. My entry was 908, and the low, the pullback is 907. And so when I made that entry, the 4-hour RSI was oversold under 30. The hourly RSI was down under 30 as well. 15-minute, 5-minute RSI, they were both down under 20. So it was just a scenario where everything was oversold. So I began scaling into my position, and I would have added if we added another leg down there. But it was just attempting a short-term entry, knowing the weekly support that was key for XAU USD and wanting to make a play off that support level. It's a textbook bottom fishing play, which so far is working out. And as, again, worst case scenario, I'm still going to have profit on that trade. Checking in on the miners. So I did a video a while ago. We were looking at the monthly miners. Let's go through these equilibriums, which are continuing to tighten. We have the high, low, lower, high. And again, this is playing out at this point for multiple years. So when this pattern does break, it will be very notable. And right now I'm looking at a key resistance. The first level the bulls need to break to start to shift this monthly momentum is 23.31. And another thing I'm looking out for is a spike in volume. So oftentimes when we see breaks of tightening equilibrium patterns, we look for fake outs. And oftentimes if there's no volume behind the move, that's a potential fake out. So if we see volume behind a break, that will be notable. And we've seen clear declining volume with a little brief uptick here, not significant, but clear declining volume for the last, while this pattern has been forming essentially, and going to be looking for a break in that monthly volume and a spike to indicate when the break in the pattern does occur. So that's not there just yet. 23.31 would be the first sign that we'd be looking for the bulls, and then we're looking up at 24.86 as the next level after that. GDXJ, same thing, already drew the lines here. Resistance here is 34.36, and then looking up to 36.08. And when I'm estimating the volume, I look at the last month's volume and I say, okay, 182.5 million. And I look at the first week of this volume, and that's 25% of the time gone by. So the volume here, 41, let's call it 42 million and round up. And if we call that 25%, we multiply by 4, that gives us 164 million volume. And if we compare that to last month, it is still lower. So that tells me over the next 3 weeks, we would have to see more volume than we've seen in this first week in order to see increasing volume on the monthly time frame. So that's the way that I estimate what the volume is going to be. And the more time that goes by, the more information we have on what is likely to be the total volume on this candlestick. So I'm not seeing the bull break just yet, but if we do get that price level breaking, that will be first signal number one to be looking for a bull entry. And if you did make a bull entry on that move and you wanted a longer term swing play, it would be the low of last month, June's consolidation, as a short term tight support as a stop level. So 32.06 would be a stop level here on GDXJ, and for GDX it would be 21.77 to be using as a stop. So still in the tight pattern, but it is something I'm watching. Oil on the weekly time frame, potentially a bearish reversal spinning top candlestick, a little bit of indecision there. Daily time frame, still extremely healthy, however. The low of consolidation right now is 72.17. The bulls are trying to pull off a bull flag on the daily before continuation, and if we break 75.24, we will look for that continuation. So a clear range on the daily chart that we've been in for the last 7 days. Support is now clearly established, resistance is established, and the bulls are shifting the momentum on the hourly by breaking the lower highs to try and see a move back towards that recent high. So the daily chart very easily could see continuation from this point. If we break 72.17, that tells us more consolidation is needed. Those are the two levels to be watching into this coming week, in my opinion. And last, we have natural gas on the weekly time frame. We are pulling back now. Anything above 272 is a higher low on the weekly. So we are looking for the bulls to show up. The daily chart has a clear double bottom, and that's currently down at 282, 282.4, 282.1. So you can see back previously from May, we had a support level down here, and that's the level that the bulls are trying to rally off of at this point. Have to see a change in the trend on the 4-hour time frame. We can see lower highs still very clearly are here. And if we can see 4-hour higher lows and higher highs, then we are confident that our daily higher low has been established, and we'll look for the bulls to make their way back up to the low 290s. So keeping an eye on the bulls for natural gas to change the 4-hour trend. Oil, bull flag on the daily time frame, trying to get follow through. Key support short term is set. Gold, oversold bounce trying to follow through. Have to confirm the bullish reversal candlestick from last week with a green week this week. And the dollar closing down at the low of the week, and key weekly higher low support on watch at 93.19. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. We'll see you soon.